Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello everyone and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about hockey as there's a big topic going on in the NHL. No, it has nothing to do with trades or player acquisitions or anything like that. It has to do with overtime change rules. And I know that I'm going to be in the minority in this, at least the way that it's being presented. It seems like the vast majority of people are behind this, or the ones that I've seen reactions from so far anyway. But I'm completely against it. And here's why. That basically what's going on right now is the NHL's general managers have a meeting out in Las Vegas. The rules committee was out there first. The general managers will be out there in a little while to take part in the award ceremonies, but they also have general managers meetings, and they usually vote on rule changes and format changes and what have you. Basically what's going on right now is the league has decided that they want fewer shootouts. They fully acknowledge that the fans like shootouts and that they think that they're exciting, but the league thinks that there's too many points being decided by shootouts, which is essentially a skills competition, and that is pretty much a direct quote from several general managers and league officials. But what they're going to do is they're going to alter it to a 3-on-3 overtime for the entire duration of the overtime. They're going to abandon the 4-on-4 overtime, so there's going to be a lot more space, a lot more scoring chances, a lot more opportunity to end the game in overtime, which in essence is a good thing. But to me, 3-on-3 is ridiculous. You're saying that the shootout is basically a skills competition. Well, a 3-on-3 overtime to me is not what the NHL is. That's a pickup game. You're having the best players in the world play it, but that's a pickup game. And what happens when inevitably, when players aren't used to 3-on-3, all of a sudden penalty happens? You're going to have a 3-on-2? I mean, that to me, that's ridiculous. I don't find it a valid way to decide a game. The game is played 5-on-5. I mean, this is like the NBA. What if the NBA decided to do this? You don't think that there'd be a backlash with that? They try it out in the minor leagues, and people seem to enjoy it somewhat, and the focus groups or whatever, which I can't stand that term, focus groups, but they seem to say that, oh, well, it's widely accepted in the minor leagues and the Swedish league and whatnot. Fine, that's their opinion. I completely disagree. My point is, what if you decided to say the NBA, well, we're not getting enough scoring in overtimes. We don't want double overtimes or triple overtimes. We want games decided right away. So we're going to go to 3-on-3 or 2-on-2. You're changing the essence of the game, in my opinion. I've gotten to the point, and granted, this is completely because I follow European soccer, and that was kind of the model that the American sports fan wanted to get away from because they couldn't understand ties. But I think that we've become more sophisticated as a sporting culture. Perhaps there are plenty of people out there that still don't like soccer. That's their deal. That's fine. But quite frankly, I think there are a lot of hockey fans out there that don't mind soccer. They may not watch it, but they don't necessarily hate it. They're not the sport haters. To me, I think they just need to go back to ties. Just go back to ties. You don't have to have a winner. There are enough smart people out there that are going to come in and watch hockey games, and if you give them a tie, all of a sudden, okay, fine. But the way that you do it is you increase the value of a win. You give them 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie that ends up tied throughout overtime. Now people will say, well, the lesser teams are still going to play for a tie. Well, that's fine. if that's the way they want to do it. But when you're offering 3 points for a win, the teams that get the ties aren't going to be able to use that as a statistic to catch up to the teams that are consistently winning. You look at the Premier League, teams that play for draws all the time, yeah, they're a little bit better than the teams that just lose all the time, but you're not necessarily going to be able to sustain that across an entire season if you don't have the talent to come up with the wins as well. So to me, a 3-point system for a win, 1 point for a tie, is completely valid for the NHL. I don't like this idea of 3-on-3 overtimes. I mean, I'm sure once you see it in action and you're in the arenas, then you say, oh, well, yeah, well, look at all the passing and the space and everything. Well, we might as well go to Olympic-sized rinks. We might as well take out all the hitting, get rid of the fighting. I mean, to me, this is not the NHL style of hockey. I don't approve of it, but that doesn't matter. The NHL Board of Governors are going to approve of it. Basically, the general managers voting for it is all formality. 3-on-3 is going to happen. I think it's a mistake. You're not going to... That's what the NHL's problem is, regardless of this 3-on-3 thing. They're constantly looking to bring in new people, and that's a good business model. You always have to look for new customers. But a shootout versus a tie versus a 3-on-3 overtime, you're not bringing in extra people by that alone. If you get people into the rinks, hockey is such an exciting sport that people fall in love with it when they go to a game. It's the people that sit there and try to watch it on TV alone and never go to a live game. They're the ones that are the biggest detractors. If you can get those people into arenas, then you get them to fall in love with the game. Whether or not they see the game end at a tie or go to overtime or shootout really has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. Get them in the arenas just in the first place, and you're good to go. No, none of this 3-on-3 stuff. I think this is a mistake. To me, it devalues the essence of the game. But we'll have to wait and see how it works out. That is the view from the Midwest. What are your views on today's topics? Comment, rate, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, comment there as well and share it around. But until the next time, I'll see you then.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much.